Hi guys, my name's Joel Celaya. I'm from Tucson, Arizona, here at Bethany Global University, part of the media team, interviewing Weston Ronan for as part of his 60-month internship at France.
So you gotta find him.
Weston. There he is. Oh,
Hey, how's it going?
it's going pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
So, how do we start? How do I start this?
I don't
First
know.
live stream, so I'm super nervous.
It's all right. You can just start with question one. What do you got for me?
The first question, what's a fun moment that you've had on internship so far?
Yeah, that's a pretty easy one. I think it was our first week here. The interns that are now seniors back on campus, they were keeping us awake because we had just flown in and we were all exhausted and gonna pretty much pass out anywhere. So they took us to a local beach. Marseille is a port city, so we're not too far away from the beach. And so they took us to this place that they and I had bought one of those little snorkel mask things.
Yeah.
So I was swimming around because there's a little reef that was nearby, and went swimming around, and I saw like something moving kind of like by where the fish were, and it didn't quite look like plant life or anything else that was there. So I swam up closer, and it turned out it was an octopus that was camouflaged. And so I went to go and try and touch it, and it just went bright white, shot into my face, and then shot off. And that scared the heck out of me because I was not expecting that at all. And then actually 5 minutes later, I was swimming around and I found another one, and this time I was determined to try to catch the thing. And so it took about 30 minutes of work and getting a friend of mine to Google what the risks were of an octopus bite, to figure out if I really wanted to go after that thing. But after 30 minutes of trying to catch it, I was able to get the octopus, catch it, and bring it to shore. And that was a really fun, really unique experience that I wasn't expecting when when coming to France.
Yeah, it was a new experience, you said, right?
Yeah, very new.
How's the language out there?
Yeah,
Was it hard?
language.
Difficult?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely hard. French is just kind of a really complicated language, and so what's really nice is the first 4 months here you have in-depth language learning. We have, I believe, yeah, it's 4-hour classes every single day for the first 4 months, 5 times a week, and that's really good because it kind of helps to get you that ground basis to kind of build off of for the rest of internship. I wish we could keep class going through that strong, but you got ministry and other assignments and stuff that you got to do. So a lot of it is really up to your own personal drive to really get after the language. Those who are really determined to get out, make relationships with the locals, and do their own studying at home. Those interns tend to do a lot better with the language than if they didn't.
Nice. How do you balance your schoolwork with your ministry, and what's your ministry call?
Yeah. So ministry here is pretty interesting. One thing I really like about it is how open are to really see. There's a lot of different opportunities. There are some sites on internship where you go to that certain site and there's a certain activity ministry that you are just obligated to do, even just to get the visa into that country. France is a lot more open, and so you're able to really work with a lot of different organizations and even start something up on your own if you want. Me and my teammates started up just a small prayer at our church that meets every Monday, where we invite French locals to come out and pray for the city, the church. And so that's definitely one thing I really really appreciate about this site, and one of the reasons why I really wanted to come to France was just the openness for use.
Yeah. Nice. And what's the ministry called? Like, I don't know if I.
Say that again?
The ministry name that you're working or partnering with.
That's kind of hard. I don't know if there's any like the church I work with is called Porta, and then there's a um, local evangelist outreach team that I actually just got connected with, and for the life of me, I can't remember the name for that. But a lot it's you know, making a connection with someone, you know, going out for coffee. Just last week, I was able to sit down with a guy at the gym I go to, and I was able to share the gospel story with them, share my testimony, which was really a really cool experience. Expecting to be able to do that so soon in coming to France here. He spoke English, so that made it a lot easier on me. I try to do that in French, which I don't think I'm quite there yet.
Yeah. What's something you're loving about the culture and finding difficult about it?
Yeah, one thing I really like about culture is France is big into kind of small groups, small communities, big club culture in the fact that they have like basketball clubs, volleyball clubs, a bunch of clubs like that. And so if you get into a club, the people there are just really warm, really, really hospitable. And, uh, and one thing the French love to do is they give the bees when they greet someone, where you kiss one side of the cheek and then the other side of the cheek. Which was something as an American I was really kind of awkward towards when first getting here. But since being here, I've come to really like it. It's just a really friendly, enduring way to greet someone who you know, you just feel a lot closer with those people. One thing that's really been annoying, at least, is the French love for paperwork, for rules, for structure. There's again the gym that I go to. We had set up a payment method for each month, but they wanted us to get a French bank account and then have the payments processed through that French bank account, even though they could receive payments through the card I had, which was really annoying because it took a lot to try and get a French bank account. But they told me I couldn't come back if I didn't get the bank account, so they could process it through there. And that was really annoying because it took months for me to get that all organized. And then for like go to it's kind of like pick up volleyball club Friday nights, and they wanted me to go to and get a physical from a doctor so I could go and play pickup volleyball with them. Like, so it's not like professional tier at all. It's just a bunch of people gathering together. But they still go get the paperwork, show that everything was okay, so I could come and play. And so the French really love a lot of rules, which can be a little, because it's just a lot of times it's unnecessary, but that you do what you got to do.
What is something that has impacted you spiritually while overseas?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of hard to put my finger on any one instance since being here, but I've definitely just grown more and more for my love of lost people and trying to reach them. I don't really know how to explain it, but there's just been this deepening desire within me that has just really kind of honed in and focused on, yes, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Nice. How do you think that's preparing you for your future ministry?
Yeah, I think internship is really good for preparing for future ministry because it really it lets you live life in another culture. Whereas if you just do a short-term mission trip, where you're going with an organization where they have an exact plan of here's what each week is going to look like, here's what you're going to be doing, you know, from 8 to 5, and everything's planned out and laid out for you, that is not a realistic take on what missions as a lifestyle is like. And don't get me wrong, like I've taken 7 different short-term mission trips to Mexico, 1 to Haiti also, and those are great. Those are really impactful, but it does not give you a total view of what living as a missionary is like. And that's what I really like about the 16-month internship is you have this time to get set up in a neighborhood, get to know your neighbors a little bit, you know, and some days the only thing you do is you go and get groceries and you come back home and that's it. And so it really cements that idea of, okay, this is life, there's nothing grand about it, there's nothing, not every single day is an adventure. Some days, you know, there's weeks and months where it's just kind of like, I don't feel like I've done much, I don't feel like I'm making much of an impact here, but it's those things you have to kind of push through and realize that you're not here for the results, you're not here for what you see, you're not here for the grand experience or the sense of adventure, you're here because God called you here and you're to be faithful to that. And so that's what I really love about the 16-month internship.
What's one thing or something that you like about your ministry?
Yeah, I really, again, I really like the openness of all the ministries here where you're able to kind of jump into wherever you feel called or feel most led. There's a lot of opportunities to serve in a lot of great ministries here. Right now, I really love the relational aspect of the few different ministries that I'm in. I'm starting to build some pretty good friendships here, and that's been really encouraging because for me, that's where people can really see Christ is how you live day-to-day life. You know, it's not going to be necessarily a one-time encounter you have with someone that absolutely changes their life, although that can totally happen. But when people can see day in and day out how you're living and how that mirrors Christ and shows Christ's love, I think that can do far more than, you know, eloquent words spoken over a short period of time.
Is there any awkward experiences that you've had being out there?
Pretty much every day that I have to
Every day.
there's an awkward experience, and that honestly is one of the hardest things about learning the language is that feeling of embarrassment, and that people are gonna know that you come across as like an idiot. And but so it was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had a group over at our all of them French, and I had specifically asked the one who could speak pretty good English not to speak English, just so we could try to hone our French a bit better and try to acquire a bit more of the language. And so I'm trying to speak what little bit of French I can. I'm hardly understanding what they're saying most of the time. And so we had some different snacks and stuff that were laid out on the table, and I wanted to ask them what kind of cheese they had bought that was on the chip. Instead of asking that, what I said was, "Excusez-moi, qu'est-ce que c'est ici?" And what I said is, "What kind of chair is this?" Instead of asking, because the word for chair is chaise, which kind of sounds like the word cheese. The word for cheese is fromage, nowhere close to chaise, but my head went to cheese, chaise. Okay, yes, that's it. And so I asked him what kind of chair I had on my on my chair. And so that was they all laughed at it, you know. And you have to learn to laugh at yourself at this stuff too, and realize you're not gonna speak the language perfectly. You can't have that. Precept coming into things. You have to realize you're going to stumble through everything, and it's going to be difficult, and you're going to come across as a fool sometimes, but that's okay.
Any weird or scary things you've eaten?
Yeah, here the food for the most part isn't too weird. The weirdest thing I've had here though was octopus. One of my teammates found it at the local grocery store, brought it home. So they came whole, and you just pop them in. And so I tried one. It was really rubbery, really salty,
Very chewy.
really, really chewy. Definitely don't need to try it again. Uh, but that's probably been the weirdest thing I've eaten while being here.
Yeah, that's pretty much all the questions I have for you. I don't know if there's any questions on the comments. Oh, Leslie Lou 88 asks, how do you get around?
Everything's through public transportation. And in the summers, the metros can get really hot. So a lot of times people walk a lot. Definitely done a lot more walking here than I had to back in the States. Not having a car has been a little annoying because if I want to get anywhere that's not within the city limits, it's almost impossible to get out there. So that's been a little hard. But the public transportation, really, you take the metros, you take the buses, and that's pretty much how you get everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, here we got May Journeys. Has any of your teammates or yourself had ministry opportunities outside of don't know how to pronounce that.
Marseille?
Yes.
What was the question again? Sorry, I didn't quite hear.
Has any of your teammates or yourself had ministry opportunities outside of that place?
Outside of Marseille. Marseille is the second largest city in France. So pretty much it encompasses everything. There's been several, Abby and Bethany both had different outings. I think Abby went to, oh gosh, for the life of me, I can't remember. Somewhere on the coast of Africa with her youth group. And Bethany went up to the Alps with her youth group, both for different ministry related outings. Yeah, so there are opportunities to get out and do it for like a year or two, but for the most part, everything's kind of encompassed in the city because it is quite large.
And what do you miss about this being like about the States?
Everything. You grow up in the States, you're comfortable with it, you miss the food, you miss your family. I do really miss just being close to my family and friends. That's definitely been really hard. But it's nice because, you know, you got Snapchat, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you can kind of keep tabs on everyone. But, you know, family and friends are definitely the hardest thing about being overseas.
And how's the weather over there? Like
The weather, it's way better than Minnesota. I've loved it. It's cold today and it's only 52 degrees. So you wear a sweatshirt and you're good. The French have a lot lower tolerance for the cold than I do. So if I'm wearing a sweatshirt, they're probably, you know, bundled up with the furry hood and everything. But yeah, no, the weather has been great. Really looking forward to the summer.
somebody asked, can you still eat bacon?
You can if you can find it. It's really hard to find bacon as we know in the States. It's I found some once that was about like that thick, and it was pretty much, you know, like a pork chop. And then others that were like chopped up into like little mini cubes. So it's really hard to find like thin sliced, you know, American style bacon.
I did not know that.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect that either.
Any favorite French food so far?
Favorite French food? Grayling and Sandra, the kind of overhead site leaders, they took me and my wife out to this nice restaurant, and I got to try duck for I think the first time, and that was absolutely amazing. Definitely the best thing I've eaten here by far.
So I guess pretty much that's all the questions on the comments I see.
Oh, there's one more. What's it like being there with my wife? That has been like one of the single best things since being here, having someone who's always by your side, who's going through everything with you, and you're able to really just kind of support each other through it all. That has been really great. Plus, you get to bring your family with you when you go overseas, and so you're not missing everyone. You have
Mhm.
you have the most important person with you, which I think has really helped me with sickness, because you're taking your staff with you.
What about favorite? You ask. What about favorite Algerian food?
Oh, favorite Algerian food.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's a place that I really like going to. It's called Kabul King. And they have different kinds of cheap too, which is nice. They have a lot of little kind of like just like little shops where you pay like €6 or so and you can get a meal. But that's been really good. I got to make a pretty good relationship with the store owner there. Sadly, he moved to a different part of the city that's really hard for me to get to.
Yeah.
Um, so that was unfortunate. I'd really liked him. But yeah, no, they got a lot of different foods here in Marseille.
How's the apartment living? Is it like any difference from here, the States?
It's definitely different. Um, One thing that really surprised me about Marseille is the little priority they have for air conditioning units. Um, so it gets 110 here during the summer easy, but almost no one will have air conditioning units. You really kind of got to get used to that a bit. Um, Other than that, I mean, there's a lot of different. The style of everything is just very different. Also, uh, with everything being kind of older and I don't know, just really old. It's not quite as shiny or clean cut as a lot of the apartments and stuff would be, in the United States.
Is budgeting? How does budgeting over there work? Is it
Yeah, I mean, budgeting is about the same as anywhere. With the way they have you fundraise and everything, you definitely have enough to live off of. You just got to be smart with your money and not eat out, 2 times a day every single day.
that's a tough one for me. Somebody asked if Andrew, friend, I don't know his last name.
Andrew Thunderberg.
Yes, your best friend.
Yes. What's my favorite area in the city and why? Good question. Let me think about that for a second because there's a few different areas. Um, they have a few different parks here in the city. Depending when you go, they're really busy or not. But I would definitely say my favorite area in the city would be that small beachfront that we visited when first coming here. It's really nice just getting out by the ocean. There's something about it that is just incredibly calming. And so if you're stressed out for whatever reason, if you can run to the beach, for the afternoon, that's a really good way just to kind of relax, recharge, and reset.
Nice. The beach. Where is it? No, where is it? Would you consider moving back there?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an option, definitely on the table. Right now, me and my wife are praying about um, where God wants us long term, and just to make that incredibly clear, because there's definitely a lot of things we like about this place, and there's just so much need for missionaries pretty much anywhere you go. Um, so just asking God where He wants us, and we're open to that.
Yeah, that's pretty much all the questions we have
All right.
today. I just thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for setting all this up.
How do I end this?
I think you
How
can
do you
just
say
hit.
bye in French?
What's that?
How do you say bye in French?
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Close enough.
Close enough, yeah. I failed French class in high school, so
No biggie.
uh, yeah, it's not my language, no.
All right.
All right.
Well, I think
Thank
I
you.
can just hit this and exit out, but thanks so much for having me, Joel. I hope I was able to answer those questions for you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. Take
It was
care.
nice meeting you.
Yeah, good meeting you as well. All right, bye.
Right. Uh, Goodbye, guys. Thank you guys for watching my first live stream here. Thank you. Goodbye.